I'm going to create as much of a suspension of disbelief for you as I possibly can, because that's my job as a director, as a playwright, as a, as an actor. All of those things I'm responsible for. And that's when we think about that authenticity or that honesty or that truth, it is really embedded in knowing, understanding, researching, and applying that knowledge into this artistic world. When we go into the communities, we're not teaching them their culture on stage, they're witnessing their culture on stage. But that it's easily transferable to non-Indigenous audiences because they get to go into the story, into the relationships, and just into the art itself. When we think about our true Indigenous history that's been documented in this country, it's still through the snippets and relationships that don't have a linear line to them. As an Indigenous person, I'm putting together histories of people that have accomplished great things in this country through, a chapter, a poem, a song, but we have never driven our own narrative and documented in that same way that are in the archives or in libraries. And that's the power of story and how things can be passed down accurately through oral knowledge. I don't feel like every story is mine, but when a story comes to me, I feel I have a responsibility to keep it alive. I do come from a fractured history like most of us, if not all of us Indigenous peoples have in this country. That displacement of family has really disrupted how we are, how we grow up. So I was fortunate when I was young to live on the trap line with my grandmother, and her partner at the time was Archie LaRock. He guided the RCMP when they used to travel by dog team across the Arctic. Those trappers and prospectors were called the Dog Patrol. When Archie passed away, I was gifted his stories. He recorded his stories on cassette tape, and there we talk about knowledge.
Go straight west. Keep going. Don't go north, don't go south, go straight west.
And so I spent a summer listening to them and digitizing them. I know that he was recording those stories because I think he wanted his own story to be heard. 19 years old, I went down to Montana for this Indigenous environmental network gathering. John Trudell was part of the American Indian movement. He said, as Indigenous people, we're always told that to be proud. When you look at Anishinaabe or Cree, it's never pride. It's love, respect, listening, patience. And when he said that, it just tore away that sense of what we were told to be and who we actually are. That's how I just live now. And I call it my getting off the mountain moment. When I started embedding myself in story, I stopped reading books about us and started talking to elders and knowledge keepers who lived those experiences and started learning from them directly. And what you recognize as you're doing research for, say, Powaggan or Tukalitu or any work that I create is steeped in research. It's all still very much, every practice, every kind of process, every grounding of inspiration still comes from a place of land. Everything is in relationship to community and who we are and how we bring our entire selves. And that includes our connection to land and our lived experience.